Let's get started. Create a new composition. Press Ctrl N or go to Composition, click New. Rename it to Flower 1. For this composition, I'm using 200 by 200 pixels. Frame per second is 30 and duration of this composition is 5 seconds. Click OK. Go to Toolbar and select Eclipse tool. Double-click the Eclipse tool to create a shape layer. Make this layer 3D. Open this layer and add gradient fill to the shape layer. Delete stroke and fill property from this layer. Open Eclipse path and change size to 25 and 111. Go to Gradient Fill. Change start point to -0.5 and 50.7. Change endpoint to 0 and -52.8. Click Edit Gradient. Change first color to black and second color to 316, 55 and 99. Or light pink color. Go to Transform. Change position to 0 and -52.8. And change scale to 192.8. Go to Layer Transform. Change position to 55.5 and 128. Press Alt button and click Stopwatch next to Z rotation. Right. Index multiply by 30. Rename this layer to Flower Pink. Now duplicate this layer by pressing Ctrl D and rename it to Flower Yellow. Go to Gradient Fill and change second color to light yellow or 56, 85 and 91. Go to Layer Transform and change position to 72.7 and 140.7. Go to 75 frames. And reduce the Flower Pink layer time to 75 frames. Do it same for Flower Yellow layer. Move it to 76 frames till end. Again create a new composition and rename to Flower 2. Size of this composition is 400 by 400 pixels. Click OK. Go to Flower 1 composition and copy Flower Pink layer and paste to Flower 2 comp. Adjust this layer to 3 frames only. Duplicate this layer till it becomes a pink flower. Now add a null object to this composition. Make it to 3D. Link all the Flower Pink layer to the null layer. Hide all the Flower Pink layers. Move the flower to the middle. Do this same procedure for Flower Yellow layer. Adjust this layer from 4 to 6 frames only. Also adjust null layer to 3 frames only. Add another null object and rename it to Yellow Center. Make it to 3D. Link this layer to all Flower Yellow layers. Rename the null layer to pink center. Hide all flower yellow layers. Adjust yellow center layer from 4 frame to 6 frames. Now add a new shape layer to the timeline. Rename it to stalk. Adjust this layer from 0 to 6 frames. Select pencil tool and create a new shape. Make this shape, as per your need. Go to Shape Stroke. Change its color to green or 134, 42 and 38. Change its position to 196, 207. Go to Pink Center Layer. Change its position to 433, 168 and 2. Change its X rotation to 0 and -56. Y rotation to 0 and -25. And Z rotation to 0 and 6.2. Do this same for yellow center layer. Now select pencil tool and add a new shape. Make this shape a leaf. Rename it to leaf 1. Adjust this layer from 7 frame to 49 frames. Add a gradient fill to this shape layer. Change its start point to -288 and 130. Change its end point to 58 and -103. Change its color to light green color or 127, 61 and 42. Go to Effects and Presets and add a curve effect to this layer. Go to 7 frames. And click Stopwatch next to Curve, to add a keyframe. Change its RGB channel. Now go to 49 frame. Again change its RGB channel. Duplicate this layer, by pressing Ctrl D. Rename it to Leaf 2. Adjust this layer from 50 frame to 90 frame. Duplicate this layer again and rename it to Leaf 3. Adjust these layers, as per your need. Again duplicate this layer and adjust this layer from 90 frames till end. Reshape it as per your need again. Create a new composition. Rename it to Main. Change its size to 1920 by 1080 pixel. Change its duration to 600 frames. Go to Project window. Drag both Flower 1 and Flower 2 composition to the timeline. Hide its visibility. Add a new solid layer. Rename it to Particles 1. Go to Effects and Preset. Add a Trapcode particular effect to this layer. Go to Emitter. Change particles per second to 8000. Change emitter type to box. Change Z position to -214. Change velocity to 0. Change emitter size X to 2000. Size Y to 0. And size Z to 1200. Go to Particles. Change particle type to textured polygon. Go to Texture. Change layer to Flower 2. Change time sampling to random still frame. Go to Rotation. Change random rotation to 7. Change size to 40 and size random to 60%. Go to Shading. Turn on Shading. Change nominal distance to 2000. Ambient to 40. Change diffuse to 15. Change specular sharpness to 50. Turn on Shadowlet for main. Go to Shadowlet setting. Check Match Particle Shape. Change opacity to 6. Go to Physics. Move timeline to 148 frame. Click Stopwatch next to Physics Time Factor. Now move the timeline to 149 frame. And change its value to 0. Go to Air and go to Turbulence Field. Change Effect Position to 300 and change Scale to 3. Go to 150 frame and click Stopwatch next to X Offset. Now move the timeline to 599 frame. And change its value to 2000. Add a light to the timeline. Rename it to Light. Change its type to Point. Change its color to 41, 62 and 43. Change its intensity to 55. And fall off to none. Check Cast Shadows. Go to Light Transform. Change its position to 1014, 397 and -297. Now add a camera to the timeline. Move timeline to 149 frame and click Stopwatch next to Point of Interest. Change its value to 750, 688 and 0. Now move timeline to 599 frames. Change its value to 1070, 688 and 0. Change its position value to 960, 403 and -375. Go to Camera Options. Change Zoom to 900. Go to 149 frames. Click Stopwatch Next Focus Distance. Change its value to 350. Now move the timeline to 599 frame and change its value to 240. Change aperture to 100 pixels. Change iris shape to hexagon. Now add a new solid layer and rename it to Particles 2. Go to Effects and Presets and add Trapcode Particular Effect to this layer. Go to Emitter. Move the timeline to 149 frame. Click Stopwatch next to Particles per second. Change its value to 750. Move the timeline to 150 frame. And change its value to 0. Change emitter type to box. Change position to 960, 361 and -180. Change velocity to 10. Also change emitter size X to 6000, size Y to 243 and size Z to 740. Go to Particles. Change life per second to 20. Change particle type to textured polygon. Go to Texture and select Flower 1 layer. Change time sampling to random still frame. Go to Rotation. Change random rotation to 20. Rotation speed X to 0.2. Speed Y to 0.2 and speed Z to 0.2. Change random speed rotate to 0.1. Change size to 10. And size random to 100%. Go to Physics. Change gravity to -1. Go to 149 frame and click Stopwatch next Physics time factor. Now go to 150 frame and change its value to 0.2. Go to Air. Change spin amplitude to 25 and change spin frequency to 6. Go to Turbulence field and change effect position to 400. And scale to 5. Now create a new composition. Rename it to Final. Go to Project window and drag main comp to the timeline. Now add adjustment layer to the timeline. Rename it to CC. Add a color balance effect to this layer. Change highlight red balance to -70. Highlight green balance to -3 and blue balance to -100. Now add curves effect to this layer. Change color channel as per your need. Now add hue saturation effect to this layer. Change master hue to 4. Duplicate color balance effect and change shadow blue balance to 100. Midtone red balance to 52 and green balance to 19. Add a new adjustment layer. Rename it to blur. Add a compound blur effect to this layer. Change the mode of this layer from normal to overlay. You can add as many effects to this composition like exposure and camera blur to create more beautiful effects. That is folks for today. I hope you like my video. If you like the video, please click the like button. If you are new to this channel, please subscribe to it. Thank you and have a nice day.